Darlings, if we're starting at the root, like any good trail map, you can't plot the fork without knowing the soil. Then let's dig into Beirut, where the thunder first taught me about fragile foundations. I was born Nadia Fatima Khalil in 1976, in a third-floor apartment off Rue de Damas, where the air hung heavy with jasmine from the neighbor's balcony and the distant rumble of trucks that might have been deliveries or something darker. My parents, Elias and Fatima, were the kind of dreamers who built lives on blueprints and stories. Dad, an irrigation engineer with calloused hands from sketching drip systems for olive groves in the Bekaa Valley. Mom, a schoolteacher whose voice could spin folktales into lessons on resilience. Habibti, she'd say, tucking me in with a kiss scented like rosewater at her, the world is a garden. Storms come, but roots hold. The storm hit when I was 5, in 81. It wasn't a single bolt but a creeping fog, checkpoints sprouting like weeds, schools shuttered, whispers of civil war, turning to booms that shook our windows like angry fists. I remember the night we packed, suitcases bulging with photo albums, weddings in white lace, Dad's engineering diploma framed in gold, the brass coffee grinder that ground our mornings into bitter, sweet ritual, and jars of za'atar Mom guarded like holy relics. Its tangy pine nuts, a taste of home we'd smuggle across seas. Dad carried me piggyback through the chaos of Beirut International, the air thick with cordite and cries, Mom clutching her Quran like a shield. We'll grow new roots, Nadia, she murmured as the plane lifted, Cyprus-bound. Larnaca was a limbo of salt air and refugee tents, then Toronto, a steel, gray January in 82, Pearson Airport's fluorescence harsh as judgment. Canada was frostbitten welcome. Dad found footing at Ontario Hydro in Scarborough, drafting power grids for a city that never slept. Mom sewed hijabs and kaftans for the budding Arab community in Thorncliffe Park, her singer humming lullabies in our two-bedroom walk up off Lawrence Avenue East. The fridge rattled louder than Dad's stories of pre-war summers, picnics under dabke-ceilidhs, Mom's laughter echoing like church bells. But we adapted. I was 6, dull with yarn braids my constant, starting grade 1 at Norman Bethan Public where snow piled like unanswered questions. Kids mangled Nadia to Nadi or Nadia with the scarf. Teachers handed ESL primers like pity prizes. But I was a quick study, code switching by 7. Arabic over tabbouleh dinners with Kulthum warbling from the radio, broken English in recess trades, Lebanese pine nuts for Tim Hortons Timbits, French from neighbors who'd fled Quebec's quiet upheavals. School hardened me. By Agincourt Collegiate 14, I was the hijab-clad debater dismantling arguments on refugee quotas, volunteering weekends at the Center for Refugee Studies, sorting donations for boat people from Vietnam, listening to elders' tales of salt, spray escapes. You'll mend the broken borders, Yakalbi, Dad said, ruffling my hair over his blueprints. Mom pinned my first essay on the fridge, borders are scars, not shields. Summers, halal picnics in Rouge Park, where I'd chase cousins through maple groves, dreaming of law school to fight the invisible walls that tore families like tissue. York University, fall 96. The grind began. Poly, C and pre-law double major, days in Scott Library buried in Arendt and Foucault, nights waitressing at Al Shawarma Palace on Steeles, the air a haze of cumin, garlic, and late night trucker banter. Exhaustion was my shadow, shifts till 2 a.m. classes at AIF, but fire lit me seminars on statelessness, where I'd argue, rights aren't granted, they're claimed, like land after flood. That's when David Hargrove sauntered in, 22, engineering undergrad with a bike, chain tan and sandy hair falling like Atlantic waves. Falafel wrap, extra tahini. Gotta fuel the green revolution, he quipped, textbooks spilling notes on passive solar design. I smirked from behind the counter. Revolution starts with not skimping on sauce. He laughed, easy and warm, lingering for chit-chat. Lebanese fire, I'm Halifax bred, cod and fog. Total opposite. What's your war story? Short version, no guts spilled, just immigrant spark, endless hustle. But he returned thrice that week, eyes lingering on my hijab pin, a silver olive branch. By Friday, Coffee at the campus Tim Hortons his treat, steam rising like peace offerings. We talked till closing. Me on the right to have rights. For the displaced, him sketching net, 0 homes that could shelter refugees without scorching the earth. Nadia, he said, voice low under the buzz. You're not surviving this city. You're carving it. Like wind shapes canyons. That wind, it held us together. Dates blurred into 97's bitey skating the frozen Don River, him steadying my wobbles, me packing kibbeh for rink-side feasts, drives to my parents' Scarborough iftar where dad grilled him on sustainable grids. Hydro's veins, boy, don't clog mom slipping him mammal cookies dusted with pistachio snow. David bridged effortless mangling Arabic endearments. Habibti, you're my anchor. Shukran for the light. Joining aid prayers at the Islamic Foundation, attempting tabbouleh's parsley overload, but heart pure, his world. Anglo salt of earth dad a civil engineer from Nova Scotia's shipyards, mom an Irish nurse with fiddles in her blood, family gatherings heavy on partridgeberry pie and ceilidh reels. But he dove Lebanese, our mashups magic, spice meets sea. By spring 98, talks turned forever. Build with me, Nadia. A life of foundations that hold storms. I said yes in High Park's cherry haze, ring simple gold with an olive engraving. Wedding June 2000. Vows at James Abu Bakr Mosque in Etobicoke, me in ivory lace embroidered with Becca vines, him in thobe over suit, Imam's words weaving, one flesh. From Quran and vows, reception Scarborough Hall 280 guests swaying dab to drums, then fiddles for his aunt's jigs. Cake 3-tiered fusion rosewater, pistachio base, maple, walnut middle, halva swirl top. We danced till stars wheeled, his hand firm. This is us, solid as the gardener. Honeymoon Tofino, Vancouver Island rain, lashed Long Beach. Whale watches where orcas breached like blessings. Nights in driftwood cabins tangled in flannel. Pacific thunder our soundtrack. Riley conceived there, under a full moon's silver. Our unplanned bridge, named for the river that carved canyons, neutral and flowing. Back in Toronto by August, the city a steam bath of promise. Our Leslieville one-bed was threadbare, walls echoing with TTC rumbles, rent first 200 straining David's internship pay and my legal aid clerking. But hours, mornings, coffee ground in mom's brass grinder, dad's blueprints spread for, future home, sketches. David at a green startup, drafting solar retrofits, me clerking refugee intakes, voices of the displaced my daily dirge, a Bosnian widow's asylum plea her eyes hollow as war's echo. Riley arrived February 14, 2003. Valentine blizzard burying the city, Mount Sinai halls slick with melt. Labor 18 hours contractions like waves crashing, David pacing corridors with vending machine coffee. Mom chanting surahs in the birthing room corner, dad timing with stopwatch precision breathe, ya binti, engineered intervals. When the doctor placed that squirming 7-pounder in my arms, dark curl tuft, eyes already scanning shadows like code awaiting input. I shattered into sobs. They're a force, David murmured, kissing sweat from my brow, his hand trembling on the tiny fist. We named them Riley, Irish for valiant. But to us, River Rye, flowing unbound. Early months chaos, Joy Riley's cries a siren's call through thin walls. David's midnight bottles warmed on the radiator, my breast pump breaks at the office. By 6 months, crawling like a commando, stacking blocks into towers to touch clouds. By 1, gender vibes early at 2, shoving away Aunt Layla's frilly Beirut dresses, no pink chains, declaring to the mirror, I'm Riley River, not girl boy box. We'd affirm soft, neutral lunacies, books like they she he me, David reinforcing, our kids the whole spectrum, like Toronto lights. First words, code, pointing at David's laptop screensaver, then mama trail, tugging me to the balcony for Don River views. By preschool in Riverdale, Riley was legend, fixing the toy train track at 3, organizing, global snack shares. At 4, samosas beside bannock from Maya's visits, tabbouleh with tortillerie from David's mom. Mia Blackbird entered then, full whirlwind. Born 81 in Winnipeg to Aunt Layla, fresh from Beirut, and Uncle Tom, Cree trapper from Fisher River First Nation. She was 5 years my junior, a canvas of contrasts, long black hair braided with eagle feathers, tattoos snaking arms. A thunderbird for storms survived, raven for messages carried. Childhood bonds. Pre-move Beirut summers trading ghost tales under olive trees, her Cree spirits meeting my djinn. Post-exile Toronto sleepovers where she'd sketch my doll's adventures, me teaching dap spins. OCAD art grad by '03, Mia's designs fused fierce Arabic script ravens for queer community zines, logos for Indigenous women's shelters with olive branch borders. She crashed our newborn haze like confetti first visit, cradling Riley with Auntie Mia's magic feather, sketching portraits that captured their soulful gaze. Hazel eyes like mine, curl, wicab like thread, 'cause she'd hug me, then David. You two built a masterpiece. Couch crashes became ritual, family fortnights. With pillow barricades, Cree star blankets over Lebanese folktales, Riley mesmerized by her ink stories. The raven flies free little one, no cages. Life upliveled '08, Harbourview's boom-funded Leaside 3, bed sleek A with dawn view balcony for summer grills, halloumi skewers beside David's pie lobsters. Firm Mine Nowell and Associates, basement to Bay Street walk up, 5 lawyers by 10, specializing newcomer reunions. A Syrian family's tearful airport embrace after my briefs pierced bureaucracy. Parents Scarborough anchor, dad retired tinkering hydro models, mom's kitchen iftar hub for 50. David's Maritime's annual PI escapes, beaches where Riley built sand drones. Riley's spark ignited tens. Age 8, library makerspace birthed first bot. A Ligio Mundstorm sorter for recycling bins. Mom. Flows fair if channeled right. By 12, non-binary full-bloom family dinner over mom's mansaf. Voice steady, them, everyone. It's the real me. Like river carving stone. Circle closed David tearing up proud pioneer, kid, valiant as your name, me hugging fierce, my flow, always. Mia sketching a pride raven with feathers in rainbow quills, fly free, Niso. School embraced. Earl Haig's gender, neutral uniforms, alley assemblies Riley led. Robotics club captain by 30 coding TTC delay predictors for low-income routes. Hackathon wins at Toronto Reference Library with bots that mapped quitty gaps. In public transit. Jane, Finch deserts highlighted in red. David beamed parent nights. My engineer, green builds at home and code. Balconies multicultural feasts shawarma platters beside Bannock fry bread. Riley DJing Kaltham remixes with Tanya Tagak throat songs. Maya's art installations of fused feathers olive branches. Life thrummed, messy, expensive rents creeping 3 cave but woven tight. Whispers start soft, loves like wind through High Park's cherries before the gale. 2017 David 41 me 37 Riley 14. City's vise squeezed. Condo fees spiking my caseload a deluge of despair. Yemeni father deported mid-hearing, his 5-year-old's wail echoing my office. David. Client smoozes running long. Texts at 10 p.m. Home midnight with tie loosened. Kalung faintly jasmine. Not his cedar earth. I'd nod, drained from depositions, collapse beside his snores. Sex. Sporadic, tender but rote like checking a box on the to-do list. Love you, Habibi, he'd murmur, arm heavy. I believed it. 18 years gravity. Riley clocked first. Breakfast over labna, smeared pita, phone in hand, dad's Strava's off, kilter. New loops in High Park post 8 p.m. timestamps, not his waterfront solo grens. Strava David's eco virtue signal. Logging bike commutes for carbon offset kudos. Profiles public for community motivation. Segments gamified, hearts from strangers. I shrugged, pouring cardamom coffee, probably wooing Rosedale investors with the Indigenous gardens. Networking green. But Riley's brow furrowed. That telltale crease like a debug line in code. Deep in U of T's youth AI program, mentored by Dr. Elena Vasquez, Filipina, Canadian prof preaching, data as equity tool, never weapon. They devoured open APIs, building scrapers for public good transit equity maps highlighting underserved immigrant neighborhoods, predictive models for food bank demand in Thorncliffe. Mom. They'd say evenings. Laptop glowing in their chaos room, Raspberry Pi's tangled with pride flags. It's cartography for justice. Mapping what's hidden in plain sight, like bus deserts for hijabi moms rushing iftar. Maya's orbit tightened too. Texts pinged denser, cuz, faux run in Kensington Market. David's tagging, loosen that lawyer knot, I'd beg off. Deadlines like the Patel case. An Indian tech family splintered by H-1B visa hell. The father's plea. Don't let borders steal my daughter's future. Mirroring my own buried fears. Photos trickled Mia and David arm, linked at pop-up art fairs. Her laugh frozen mid, burst over bubble tea. Riley photobombed in background slapping a street art sticker on a lamppost. Captions. Vibes in the village Faye family flow. Twinge. Yes. Her ease pulling David's spark, the artist freeing the architect from spreadsheets. Jealous. No. Just tired of the grind leaving me the soul stitcher. The glitch cracked July 2018. Air humid as a steam bath, the city pulsing like a fever dream. I was knee-deep in the office at Khalil and Associates. Bay Street's third floor, windows fogged with AC hum. Grappling affidavits for a Somali clan's asylum bid. Their 10-year-old daughter's wide eyes in the photo haunting my screen like a ghost of Riley's vulnerability. Phone buzzed mid-sentence, David's Strava notification, cheery ping amid the legalese. Sunset strides with great company. A 5K loop through High Park's off-leash trails. Timestamp 7:42 p.m. start, endpoint Grenadier Cafe at 8:52. Great company. His usuals were solitary waterfront hammers, pounding out stress with heart rate spikes. I tapped the map overlay. Cherry blossoms framing Indigenous garden paths, where elders led smudging circles under string lights. Heart emoji. Rare for him. Functional guy, not flair. My chest tightened, a stone lodging in my throat like undigested grief. Coincidence in Toronto's tangle. Paths cross like TTC lines. But scrolling notifications, Maya's Instagram story from 8:47 a shadowy silhouette against sunset oaks, braided hair catching gold. Captioned, soul sink in the green heart pay Cree whispers tovenings. David's like buried in replies, a subtle red heart, timestamp 8:55. Jasmine, her signature oil from those essential blends she sold at markets. Flashed in memory, the scent clinging to David's collar last week after a late client walk. Pick up Riley from Ryerson's AI camp. Downtown lab where they tinkered with neural nets for ethical scraping. The 401 crawled, rain slicking windshields like tears held back. Mom, your face, thundercloud. In the parking lot, engine idling, I thrust the phone. See this. Riley's hazel eyes narrowed, fingers already itching for their backpack laptop. Strava public APIs. Let me layer it. 5 minutes. Home by 7. Falafel takeout from the Yonge spot steaming on the kitchen table. Greasy paper wrappers, tahini dripping like accusations. Riley commandeered the island, dual monitors blooming. Red lines tracing David's routes snaking Toronto's veins. Bloor West Village cafes with quick coffee, notes. The AGO's modern wing for after-hours networking. Even a pop-up market in Kensington's alley glow. Blue threads for Mia's flows. Yoga sun salutes in Trinity Bellwoods Park. Sketch sessions in Roncesvalles galleries where she'd capture street murals in watercolor bursts. Then green overlaps blooming like digital fireflies. Clusters dense over 4 months. A drum circle RSVP on Eventbrite, David's account public for professional development credits, synced within 12 minutes to Mia's Pinterest pin of healing rhythms under city stars. Timestamps aligned. 9:15 p.m. Solo ride ending blocks from her evening inspiration walk. Heatmap. Riley murmured, voice steady but fingers trembling on the trackpad. Pixels pulsed. Dozens of intersections. Probability algorithm spitting 0.02% chance of random. Python script I wrote for camp scrapes Strava GPS exports legally. Cross-references Eventbrite APIs for RSVPs. Pulls geotags from Pinterest and Insta stories. Even Uber receipts. He shares M on LinkedIn for tax hacks. Public domain. No breaches, Mom, just their breadcrumbs. Scattered for the world. I stared. Cardamom tea cooling untouched. The room spinning slow as a carousel gone wrong. Betrayal isn't thunderclap, it's erosion. Waves carving cliffs from solid rock. David, my David, who'd held me through Riley's toddler tantrums, cheered their robotics medals with, "That's my valiant one!" Volunteered beside me at the Native Canadian Centre where elders' stories of residential schools left him teary. Tangled with Mia. My cousin, blood pulse from Aunt Layla's line. who'd comforted me after a brutal lost case in '05, baking mammal till 3 a.m. and saying, "Sis, you're the warrior weaving this city's scars into strength." Flashes assaulted, Maya's lingering hugs at Aid feasts, her playful winks at David during balcony barbecues. Keep up, architect. Art's the real build, the way her free spirit seemed to tug his buried wildness free. 18 years, I whispered, voice cracking like dry earth. How? Why her? The stone in my throat swelled. Tears hot on cheeks. Riley slid from the stool, awkward teen limbs wrapping me in a hug, smelling of circuit boards and vanilla body spray. I suspected after the third late run, Mom. Overheard a call last month, meet at the Bentway. 9 sharp, his voice all soft, like with you on anniversaries. But I waited. Needed solid proof. Data, not doubt. So you'd believe. So we could fix or fight. We wept into the falafel wrappers then, the city's distant sirens' ironic lullaby. Dawn River lights blurring through balcony doors like smeared stars. That night, sleep evaded. David's side of the bed a vast, cold chasm. I scrolled old texts by phone glow. Love you more than skyline sunsets, Habibi. From our 10th Niagara trip, hearts emoji from Riley's birth announcement. Lies. Or faded like ink under rain. By 4 a.m., resolve hardened over cold tea. Wit confront kiddo. But smart your way. Data first, drama last. No knives, just the map. The next weeks. Reconnaissance, a mother's war room disguised as family routine. Mornings I'd drop Riley at Earl Hague, their backpack heavier with USB drives of scraped datasets, me stealing for Bay Street battles. The Nguyen case ramping, a Vietnamese boat. People echo family fighting deportation for their trans teen son. His coming, out letter to the judge mirroring Riley's dinner. Table courage. Mom, it's like your kid, borders stealing identity. Fury fueled my briefs but home. Tense undercurrents. David jetted to Vancouver for site scouting. LinkedIn posts polished with net zero renderings, comments from Maya, killer views, bro. Channel that into art. I'd like neutrally, heart twisting. Riley iterated the harmony heatmap in stolen hours. School robotics club cover for late nights. Vasquez's mentorship emails guiding. Layer ethically. Riley. Voluntary public sources only, anonymize for prototype. They deepened its sentiment analysis from emoji patterns, David's rare hearts spiking precisely post, Mia overlaps, her ravens emojis fluttering in sync, weather correlations tying, rainy day cafe escapes. To their clustered pins, even public Spotify playlists, urban escape, mixes on David's account mirroring Mia's, spirit flows, with shared Buffy St. Marie tracks, timestamps aligning to the minute during solo evenings. It's polite justice, Mom. Riley explained over weekend pita pizzas, screen split between code and city maps. No vengeance script, just an algorithm surfacing patterns. Like a wellness app for relationships, but for fractures. Voluntary inputs later, but this. Their own trails, open access. My work wove parallel wounds. September crept, caseload cresting the Al-Mansur Syrians, clan fractured by Assad's barrel bombs, the mother's plea over Zoom. Nadia. My boy dreams of Toronto snow, don't let paper walls keep him. Echoing my nights scrolling David's Insta for clues, Maya's stories a siren call of evening inspirations. In places his Strava ghosted. I'd win stays, hug clients in virtual relief, then home to Riley's updates. Added cultural layer flags value mismatches like eco, claims vs actual footprints. Ethical check 100% public, no logins cracked, pride swelled amid ache. My kid, 14 going on forensic sage turning heartbreak into heuristic. Maya's texts tapered, miss you cuz. Girls' night soon. Riley's killer sketches? I'd reply vague, swamped rain check. But photos lingered her and David at a Roncesvalles gallery pop up. Arms brushing over woven baskets, caption, threads of story Indigenous art to. David's comment, inspiring builds. Twinge to tear now, doubts virus replicating. Riley caught my stares. Mom, the map's ready. Prototype gleamed, interactive dashboard, shareable link. Frame it neutral for the club newsletter, blended, family navigation tool, 500 subs. Your paralegals, my hack crew, dad's ethical funds, even friendship center elders. Send Tuesday. I nodded, stomach knotted. Labor Day long weekend hangover hung over the city. BBQs in High Park fading to gray skies. David, in Ottawa. Train ticket flaunted on LinkedIn for policy schmooze. Maya story Sunday. Solo sketch sesh in the distillery. Cobblestones calling. Riley hit send 10 a.m. Tuesday. Subject line crisp. Mapping harmony, a free tool for Toronto's blended trails. Body poetic practical. In a city of crossings, like TTC lines at Rush. See where paths align or diverge. Prototype attached heatmap for cultural value overlaps. Feedback welcome. Build equity together. Embedded anonymized layers at first. Hypothetical family trails. Revealing unspoken divides. Call for beta testers. Buzz started subtle, a ripple in still water. My phone first. Paralegal Jamal at Tendrin 17. Text popping amid deposition notes. Nadia, that coding club's newsletter. Straight fire. But those green clusters in the distillery look familiar. Then the flood. Emails pinging like hail, shares rippling across WhatsApp groups. My book club of immigrant moms, hypothetical drama. 2 spot on for my in-law vibes. Riley's robotics Slack, dude, this heatmap's genius. Scraping Strava ethically, teach me. By noon, it cracked viral Reddit R's Toronto thread. Youth Coders Harmony app just exposed a real toe affair. Fa cheat map mao. Upvotes climbing to 2K, comments a mix of awe, ethical hacking for the win, public data FTWs, and shade. If this is based on my ex's runs, I'm kudos-ing the kid. Twitter, now X, but back then pure chaos. Ignited faux data magic trending local, screenshots of the dashboard circulating like contraband, a tech blogger dissecting. 16-0 prodigy turns fitness apps into family forensics, ethical gold or privacy Pandora. Spoiler gold. Riley monitored from the school library on lunch break, texts flying. Mom, 800 downloads already. Positives rolling. Surrey auntie maps halo spots near Gurdwaras, blended win. But dad's investor just emailed the club impressive tool. Curious about those High Park greens. David called at 1:17 p.m., voice thunder rolling over the line as I stepped into Bay Street's alley for air, rain misting my hijab. Nadia. What the actual hell is this? My board's in meltdown. Hargrove's personal trails don't align with Harbourview ethos. 2 funds threatening pullout, citing reputational risk from overlaps. Is this some sick joke? Fury-laced fear, his breath ragged like post, ride winded. I leaned against brick, city hum mocking, no joke, Habibi. Truth stings, doesn't it? Public trails. You logged them, liked them, left them for the world. We just connected the dots. Silence stretched, broken by his exhale, defeat cracking the bluster. It's not. God, Nadia, it's complicated. Pressure, the deal's tanking, you always buried in briefs. I slipped. The word landed like a slap, casual as spilling coffee. Mia's voicemail hit at 1:45, forwarded from my work line. Sobbing into the receiver, voice muffled like underwater. "'Cause oh God, I swear it wasn't planned." The runs started innocent, talking Cree lore over his green dreams, the way he'd light up like you used to. He said you were distant, the firm swallowing you. Sparks flew and I was weak. Forgive me, sis. Please, for Riley, for us. Us. The word twisted the knife, blood and betrayal braided tight. Riley burst through the condo door at 3:15, backpack thumping, face pale but eyes alight. Equal parts triumph and terror. Mom, it's exploding. 1.5K shares on LinkedIn. Tech VCs calling it the future of relational analytics. But fallout. Dad's biggest client, that Indigenous, led fund for the Liberty Village project. Tweeted value misalignment. Pausing partnership after studying the harmony. Prototype. And Mia's Insta, flooded, betrayer in braids. Family first from our circle, old clients ghosting her DMs. They collapsed on the couch, laptop balanced on knees, monitoring dashboard metrics like vital signs. But look. The Good Friendship Center elder emailed, this tool could save marriages before borders of silence divide. Share with the grandmothers 300 beta sign ups already. Mostly blended families like ours. I sank beside them, arm around shoulders sharp with growth spurts. You did this, kiddo. Polite justice, Canadian to the core. No tabloid splash, just facts floating free. But inside, the stone ground sharper. 18 years foundation shifting like Toronto's sinkholes after thaw. Dinner was takeout shawarma, wrappers crinkling under forks as we dissected replies. Commendations from Vasquez Riley. This is thesis level. Cite it in your app. Shade from David's circle. Clever kid, but destructive. Family stays private. By 8 p.m., Globe and Mail alert. Teen coders heatmap heats up Toronto family food. Ethical tool or digital divorce. The scandal snowballed polite style. Whispers in second cup lineups. Heard about the Strava affair. That kid's a detective. Think pieces in UNOW magazines. When public data draws private lines. CBC Radio's afternoon drive with a segment featuring Vasquez. This is ethical innovation at its pinnacle. Using open sources to surface truths without invasion. Riley Khalil, Hargrove. A name to watch. David's firm, cratering fast. Board emergency Zoom leaked via a junior's Slack. Hargrove's trails contradict our DI mandate. Can't build sustainable homes for families if the owners destroys his. Clients bailed. Rosedale Eco, Mom's citing, Amedge risk. The 20OM Distillery Retrofit Fund pausing contracts. Maya's freelance dried a nonprofit DM. Love your work, but after the map, uncomfortable. Her stories went private, but screenshots lingered. Healing journeys ahead. Faye grateful. Friday confrontation brewed like the gale rattling our windows. September wind whipping Don Valley leaves into frenzy. David burst through at 7:02 p.m. Trench coat dripping puddle, trails, face ashen as overcast sky. Mia trailing like a ghost in feather, braided ponytail and oversized sweater, eyes red-rimmed, tattoos peeking like accusations. Riley stood sentinel by the kitchen island, arms crossed over their Black Lives Matter hoodie, laptop closed but aura humming with code, ready calm. Nadia. David launched, voice raw, edged, shedding coat like skin. This has to stop. The board's calling for my resignation. Interim leadership, bullshit. Investors fleeing like rats. What the hell were you thinking? Unleashing that thing. I met his gaze from the counter, hands steady pouring mint tea, ceremony amid carnage. Thinking, no David, seeing. Your trails, public as a billboard. Riley didn't unleash, they illuminated. 8 months of green you left glowing for anyone with eyes, or code, to see. Maya hovered doorway, twisting silver rings etched with raven motifs, voice small, sis, it was stupid. The runs in High Park started as talk, me sharing Grandpa Tom's trapline stories, you venting deal stress. His eco, vision lit something, forbidden. I thought he was unhappy, you swallowed by cases. We connected and I was lonely too. God forgive me. For Riley, for blood. Lauder escaped me sharp as sumac spice. Bitter, unexpected. Lonely. Blood, Mia, you're the thread that bound us. Summer ghosts in Beirut, braids and dak in Toronto basements. And you wove betrayal. 6 months of wildfire, not sparks. Drum circles, gallery whispers, sunset strides while I fought for families you could have helped design for. Riley shifted, voice even as algorithm. Not wildfire by chance. Aunt Mia 247 data points, Strava GPS Eventbrite syncs, Insta geotags, probability of coincidence, less than 0.2%, you left the map open, I just rendered it. David whirled on Riley, face crumpling. Love and loss warring, you, my valiant one, weaponizing your brain against me, I taught you code for good, robots that sort recyclables, apps that feed the hungry. Not this destruction. Riley met it unflinching, Hazel holding gray. Not against Dad. 4. Public data, your choice to share. You preached footprints matter, sustainable ones. Yours just diverged. From us, air thickened, electric as pre-storm hush. Mia fled to the guest bath, sobs echoing off tile like fractured porcelain. David slumped at the table, head in hands, shoulders heaving silent. I love you, Nadia. Riley. Both it was weakness, momentary, stupid. The pressure, deals collapsing, you a ghost in briefs. Mia listened, saw the man under the mogul. We can fix, counseling, transparency apps, whatever. Please. His hand reached, pleading. But the map was etched, pixels burned into retinas. I stood. Fix. Trails don't uncross, David. They reveal. That night, after they left, David to the King Edward sterile luxury. Maya to her Scarborough studio apartment stacked with sketch pads and regret. I held Riley on the balcony. City lights a mocking constellation. Wind tugged our scarves, Dawn River murmuring below. You okay, kiddo? It's your dad. They leaned head on my shoulder, voice wobbling but steel beneath, like a system crash. Mom. Blue screen. Everything frozen. But cleaner code follows. Justice feels right, even if it burns. Monday morning dawned gray, Toronto's September steel under slate skies. I filed at Osgood Hall by 9015. Sarah Patel, my firm's Indo-Canadian firebrand partner, lead on briefs, her sorry crisp as her arguments. We've got platinum evidence. Nadia, she said over coffee in the lobby's marble hush, heatmap printouts fanned like a winning hand. Public sources, child created, irrefutable. Ontario no fault, but infidelity colors asset splits. Judges eat data like this. Proceedings dragged 4 months. A slow hemorrhage, affidavits stacking like indictments, mediations in fluorescent conference rooms smelling of stale resolve. First hearing October 10, courtroom wood, paneled as old grudges, Judge Aisha Rahman, Mississauga born, hijab impeccable, eyes sharp as my own briefs, leaning into Sarah's presentation. Exhibit A, Your Honor, the Harmony heat map. Authored by the minor child using exclusively open APIs, 247 verifiable points, Strava geolocations, Eventbrite RSVPs, social metadata, correlation probability of coincidence 0.2%, no breaches, purely public footprints. David's counsel, a slick Bay Street suit named Ellis, blustered. Invasive overreach, a child's vendetta, weaponized tech, prejudicial. Rahman arched a brow, tapping the printout. Public means public, Mr. Ellis, like jaywalking under streetlights or posting sins on Facebook Live. The methodology, impeccable, verified by U of T's Dr. Vasquez. Proceed to custody evil, assets frozen pending. Riley testified mid-November, poised in oversized blazer over their pride pin shirt, voice steady as code compile. It wasn't revenge, Your Honor, data for truth. Like mom's work reuniting families with facts, not feelings. Dad's trails diverged, the map just showed it. For equity, at home. Rahman nodded, faint smile, valiant witness, noted. Fallout rippled wider. David's Harbourview teetered, board interim leadership, ousting him by October end, shares plummeting 40% on whispers of personal misalignment. He sold remnants to a white knight consortium, pocketing half value, but the stink clung. Clients like the Rosedale Collective ghosted, citing family values hypocrisy. Mia vanished from feeds, profile private, but screenshots haunted. Healing journeys in Banff for grateful shadows. Old collaborators DM blocking. Our circle fractured, polite book club invites dried as space for you, but awkward. David's golf buddies texting, tough break, man. Kid's a genius though. Riley armored with routine Earl Haig robotics, where club mates hailed them, heatmap hero. Vasquez offering thesis co-authorship. But nights, quiet storms. Me pouring case files, and win trans teens stay granted. His thank you card, like your Riley. Brave. Riley tweaking the prototype into Trailweaver beta. Adding voluntary layers for users. Input your own trails, get harmony scores. No spying, just self-scan. For families like the Paddles, they'd say, spotting cultural drifts before they divide. Final settlement December 20. Winter solstice irony, shortest day for longest goodbye. Rahman ruled in chambers, voice even, considering documented infidelity via admissible digital forensics. Plaintiff awarded 50% joint assets, 1.8 M Harbourview shares, Muskoka lakefront cottage, alimony to child's majority. Shared parenting, but minor's preference weighs, testimony clear. David sat stone, faced across the table. Lawyer murmuring concessions, his eyes met mine once. Regret raw, love lingering like smoke. For Riley, he whispered post-signature, handing keys. Tell them, proud. Packing January Waininivi condo echo, chamber, boxes labeled poetic. Shawarma summers. Riley's code cauldron. David's ghost tools. His old bike share pass tossed with wry smile. Movers hauled Friday, air thick with phantom scents. Cumin fade, cedar cologne ghost. David helped once, awkward in jeans. Take the Prius. Fits new trails. Riley watched from stairs, then slipped him a USB drive. Updated map, Dad. Your solo routes now. Clean lines, no greens. Reboot well. His nod choke, valiant as ever, kid. Pearson farewell Sunday, security waved us through, Riley's backpack talisman, bulging with tech talismans, mine heavy with case files and mammal from moms, for the road, ya binti, sweeten the miles. Flight west, clouds parting over prairies, Riley sketching app wireframes, me journaling fragments. Trails end, new forks begin. Vancouver fog, cloaked landing, evergreens hugging YVR like old kin. Kitsilano rental 3 202, bed, balcony False Creek views. Kayaks bobbing hopeful, cedar scent washing Toronto exhaust. Unpacking day I hung law robes in closet smelling of salt, Riley's station bloomed. Jewel monitors on thrift desk, UBC welcome packet stacked. Home, I whispered, hugging them amid bubble wrap. First week blur job hunt. 3 interviews. Landing at West Coast Advocacy, Lena's Haida powerhouse boss grinning over resume, Toronto Tiger with that heatmap legend. Hired. Dive into Wet'suwet'en pipeline, families divided by corporate borders again. Your fire fits. Riley plunged UBC Youth AI mornings neural net labs, afternoons longhouse workshops with Jordan 2 spirit mentor weaving Gitsan oral histories into code. Mom, it's river, work. Data flows like salmon, respect the source. First hackathon, win for Refugee route planner blending Strava with CBSA wait times safe trails for newcomers. Judges raved. Me. Seawall walks ritual. Stanley Park totems guardians whispering resilience, waves crashing like catharsis. Therapy via app with Syrian, Canadian counselor. Betrayals its own border crossing, Nadia, exile from trust. You're the cartographer now, redraw without apology. Dates flickered tentative Amir, jam cafe barista with Damascus roots and pour, over precision. Our first chat over shakshuka turning, tell me your trails, into lingering coffees. Spring 19 thought us slow, Vancouver's missed a bomb on Toronto scars. Trailweaver evolved, Riley's pet project blooming under Vasquez's remote guidance, beta invites to 2K, voluntary harmony scanner, input calendars, values, get overlap scores, no servers, local process privacy first. Downloads surged 5K by April. Surrey halal mappers Coquitlam Filipino nurses tracing kinship zones. East Vamaitas elders flagging cultural syncs for grandkid visits. Lena featured at firm webinar. Nadia's kid revolutionizing reconciliation. Data as bridge, not wall. Ted's Youth Vancouver. May Riley on stage. Spotlights hot, voice steady. From personal fracture to family fusion. Trailweaver shows trails before they tangle. Not surveillance, for blended lives like mine. Lebanese Cree, Anglo code in a coastal city. Q&A thunder, ethical scraping. Public only, teach it. Downloads hit 10K overnight. CBC profile, Toronto teens app heals heartbreak with heat maps, framing Riley as quiet revolutionary. Awards trickled summer. Governor General's caring Canadian nod for Riley's, fostering understanding in diverse communities. Plaque Mantel, bound beside mom's mammal tin. David called Equinox, voiced tinny over Rockies, heard the TED clip, proud, kid. The app, it's you better than my builds. Riley, speakerphone on balcony. Thanks dad, trails forward, no looking back, joy layered. Amir and I deepened. Fall dates to Granville Island markets, his Syrian fava dips blending my tabbouleh, rings exchanged last summer, white gold etched with intertwined ravens, his nod to me as art, redeemed. Your map includes me now. He whispered, Stanley Park cherry petals falling confetti. Firm partnership mine by 20 leading digital evidence bill push, heatmap precedents for family courts, Raman testifying pro bono. Riley UBC early grad 21. MIT fellowship beckoning but Vancouver pied, tear tethered. Coast calls mom rivers need sea. Trailweaver global Arabic Krieg Tagalog interfaces. EU grants for ethical AI in kinship mapping. David. Calgary steady new partner. A civil engineer with P fiddles, holidays Zoom cordial. Mia. Winnipeg wife to a Mamatis teacher. 2 kids underfoot. Murals for truth reconciliation centers. Penance paths. Her rare text to me. Proud of Riley's weave. Forgave myself, hope you have. 5 years on loves, our trails a tapestry, stitched from Beirut thunder, Toronto tangles, Vancouver mists. Last sunset seawall, Riley beside, map upgraded mom, not broken branched. Salt on cheeks, I hugged, valiant flow. Justice, not Vengeance Code's quiet roar redrawing home. Yours awaits. Follow the right trails. The full narrative unfolds across these chapters, with interwoven subplots: Nadia's parallel legal victories, Nangayan trans asylum win mirroring Riley's identity arc, Wet'suwet'en family reunions echoing her own, Riley's coding odyssey, step-by-step Python scripts, ethical debates with Vasquez, Maya's redemption subplot, letters from Winnipeg, art exhibit apology, Amir's slow courtship, cultural fusion dates, shared recipes, and seasonal vignettes of Toronto, Vancouver sensory shifts. Emotional arcs deepen: Nadia's doubt to defiance, Riley's grief to genius, David's humbled reboot.